8 years ago, long before anyone knew his name or his story, a dog walked himself into a retirement home in northern Michigan in the middle of the night. Nobody saw where he came from. Nobody knew how he got in. But the night staff found him lying peacefully on the couch in the front lobby, curled into a tight little circle, sound asleep, like he had been waiting his whole life to be there. He wasn't frantic. He wasn't barking. He wasn't even pacing the way lost dogs often do. He was just resting, calm and still, like he'd finally found a place that felt right. The staff didn't quite know what to do. They gently woke him, walked him outside, and called the sheriff's office. With a quick scan of his collar, they figured out where he belonged. Turns out, he was staying at the animal shelter across the road. They returned him. That was supposed to be the end of it, but it wasn't. The next night, he came back. Same door, same couch, same quiet peace. Like he didn't just want to be there, he already was. The staff laughed, surprised, and returned him a second time. But then came night 3. Same thing. That's when they started asking themselves a different question. Instead of where does he belong, they wondered, what if he already knows? They called the shelter again, but instead of asking for a pickup, they asked a different question. Would it be okay if he stayed here, just for a while? That while turned into forever. They named him Scout, a name that suited him perfectly. He wasn't just a dog. He was a seeker, a finder, someone brave enough to go in search of the place his soul felt safe. And from the moment he was allowed to stay, something changed in the building. Staff say they didn't adopt him. He adopted them. He became part of the place in a way no one expected and everyone needed. He walked the halls like he was doing rounds. He checked in on residents, nudging open doors and sitting at the feet of people who needed company most. He walked beside wheelchairs, slept at bedsides, rested his graying muzzle in open palms, never barking, just being. Scout belonged to everyone, but somehow, he also belonged to each person individually. He was there when someone cried over bad news. He was there when families reunited. He was there when someone felt scared, lonely, or forgotten. He stood next to beds that would soon be empty and comforted hearts that didn't know how to handle loss. He didn't try to fix anything. He just offered his presence. And sometimes that's everything. It didn't take long for Scout to become more than just a community dog. Residents started calling him our furry nurse. The night crew called him the hallway guard. One man told his family, "I sleep easier because I know Scout checks on me in the middle of the night." And he did. Every night, on his own terms, in his own quiet way, Scout made sure nobody felt alone. He was allowed to go in and out as he pleased. They put a little pet door near the side entrance so he could roam the yard or lay on the porch. During the summer, he'd spend hours stretched out in the shade near the garden, ears twitching at birds. In the winter, he'd curl up beside the heater vent in the rec room, letting people use him like a foot warmer. No one asked him to love them. He just did. At some point, someone did the math and realized something startling. Scout could have chosen anywhere across the street. He could have roamed the neighborhood, found the nearest house with an open porch or a dish of food outside. He could be tried to get adopted by one of the dozens of families who frequently visited the shelter. But he didn't. He crossed the road again and again to a building full of people who needed him the most. And he stayed. Some dogs are chosen, others choose. That's how he lived. And every one of those 8 years, Scout didn't just comfort people, he changed them. Residents who never talked started speaking again when Scout came to visit. People who had gone weeks without smiling ran their hands through his fur and giggled like children. Nurses said medication requests, especially for anxiety, went down just from Scout's presence. The staff even got him a little badge with his name on it. One of the residents knitted him a sweater for Christmas. Someone else hung a stocking for him in the lobby. He didn't ask for any of it. But love has a way of coming back full circle. One afternoon, one of the nurses said something that stuck with me. She said, "In a place where people are leaving life behind them, Scout brings life in the front door every day." And she was right. He was a reminder of something sacred, that even when our bodies get old, our hearts still need connection, still need warmth, still need someone who shows up without needing anything in return. One night, one of the newer staff members asked the director why Scout was allowed to live in the building full time. The director just smiled and said, "Because he didn't ask for permission. He just walked in and started healing people. And nobody heals people like he does. 8 years later, he's still there. He still roams the halls, still rests beside those who don't have anyone else, still curls up in the lobby on the same couch where he first slept, as if he has always known that one day this would be home. Some stories don't need a grand ending. Some just need witness. Scout is one of those stories, because not all love is loud. Sometimes it walks in quietly, lies down beside us, and says without saying, "You're not alone."